All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. So, by the title, you already know what I'm going to be talking about and all this fun stuff that's associated. But we're going to talk about something a little different than what I normally do. So, let's look at what the Acolyte has done so far. Okay? At least this last episode. We had government officials show up to a very rural place that has a group of religious folks inside. And there's potential that they're doing something to harm folks that's inside. That's the excuse that the government folks come up with to then enter the place with full force, full firepower, right? And if you don't know the reference I'm getting there with full force firepower, we had lightsabers versus bow and arrows. And they completely destroyed the place and it was burnt down. Sound familiar? What Leslie Headland has done, what Leslie Headland did, and I don't know if she did it on purpose. By saying she did it on purpose is probably giving her way too much credit, is she recreated the situation that happened in Waco, Texas in her last episode of The Acolyte. If you read the story, the tale, if you will, of what went down in Waco. When did the Waco, Texas thing happen? It was like the 90s, right? Or was it the early 2000s? I'm going to Google this real quick. So give me 1 second. This is how you know I'm not professional, because I'm doing my research while I'm recording the video. So it happened in it says February 28th, 1993 to April 19th, 1993. We're going to go to 24 children. Only 9 were living. Okay, so I would. It would have been so much better if it had been like 2 adults and two children and 5 adults lived, because it'd be like, oh, this is so on point with this episode. But like, we had the comparisons between this and Waco, Texas, are mind-boggling, and I got to give full credit. I didn't have this thought before. This thought didn't even enter my mind until I was watching what is yesterday? Yesterday was the 12th. So the 12th version of Friday Night Tights, that episode that happened on the 12th. As of the recording of this, I'm doing this the morning of the 13th. Last night, the episode of Friday Night Tights. They were talking about that, and then someone referenced Waco, and I was like, nah, there's no way. Then I thought about the episode a little bit, and I was like, oh my god, she recreated Waco. Why? And the reason why is she's trying to make the Jedi evil. She's trying to show that the Jedi are bad. She's trying to do this whole thing, and in almost every single piece of media we're getting these days, when it involves a villain, which is, of course, a lot of media, they're trying to make it to where the bad guy is sympathized with. And you didn't have to do that before. We've sympathized with the bad guy in a lot of different situations. If you look at I think it's the second or the third Die Hard, the guy Jeremy Irons plays wants revenge because Bruce Willis's character killed his brother. Completely understandable. I would probably too want revenge on the dickhead that killed my brother, whether my brother was a villain or not, because you don't see your brother as a villain, you see him as your brother. Darth Vader. What was the one I was thinking about for Darth Vader? No, it wasn't Darth Vader. Who was it? Man, I had somebody in my mind that was a villain that you could sympathize with. Fuck, I can't remember. It was somewhat Star Wars related, and I can't think of the character now. That was bad for kind of good reasons or whatever, but whatever. The point is that we've always had sympathy for a majority of the villains. It all depends on how they're written. We don't need to have it to where they're completely sympathized with, because they're supposed to be bad guys. Because in movies, we've had the good guys do some stuff that would potentially make them the bad guys if the story was told from the opposite position. If we had stories from the bad guy's perspective, and then, we heard all the stuff that the hero did, we would consume that the hero was a bad guy. I mean, one could make the argument about Batman. Batman chose what he did because of what happened to him as a kid, but he's still a vigilante. He's still working outside of the law. Yeah, he's doing good things, but he's doing it the wrong way because it's outside of the law. And that's what a lot of people think about and associate good with law, which I don't get. But, there are so many instances where someone's doing wrong things for the right reasons. But you can't make it to where it changes the point of the villain, because it's a villain for a reason. So and I'm probably not explaining this properly, but you guys are probably getting what I'm trying to throw down here. And that's what Leslie's trying to do with the Jedi in this show. Is she's trying to make the Jedi the bad guys. She's trying to make them appeal in a lesser light, which is ridiculous, because were the Jedi perfect and pure? No. They did some things in their history that's not good. They did kidnap kids back in the old days to fill their ranks and train them in the Force and shit. So their record isn't spotless. But to come out and full force this to where we're supposed to look at the Jedi as evil, whenever you don't give us all reasons for them being evil. I mean, Sol was completely justified in stabbing the Black Witch Mother's chest, because he's standing there and he's listening to all this stuff that's going on. And then she turns into some kind of mist creature. And according to Leslie Headland, she's becoming one with the Force. And then he looks over and doing the same thing to May. And it's like, okay, well, he doesn't know this. This is a sect of witches that have their own ways of using the Force, or the thread, as they call it. He doesn't know this shit. He's seeing a kid getting disintegrated. He doesn't know what's going on right now. So him stabbing her was perfectly justified, in my opinion. But let me know what you thought down in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm dawdling just a little bit. But let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Do you agree that Leslie Headland is doing the Star Wars universe wrong by trying to make the Jedi evil? And the comparison with Waco is just one other way that she's trying to make it to where the Jedi seem like the villains for the Star Wars universe. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.